What's up, Buttercup? I'm Pam Barnes, marketing expert,
And I'm Hannah Cox, business strategist,
and this is the Go Getter Gals podcast.
where everyday gals grow together and you'll find resources to help you grow personally and professionally.
Hey everybody, welcome to Go Getter Gals. Today we're going to be talking about competition and collaboration. Hannah, are you ready?
I am. This is a conversation that I'm really excited to have because it's something that I've been struggling with forever. Just always comparing myself to other people and using other people's success as some sort of measuring stick for how well I'm doing in life. And that is horrible. And it's a hard habit to get out of. So, this is a great conversation to have.
Yes. Today, after this, we hope that we stop saying she's winning. So why does it feel I'm losing?
Right. Oh my gosh. So true.
Okay, so let's talk about this. So competition starts so early, right? Like grade school with our friendships and when we're starting to learn ourselves. I remember in elementary school always feeling like I had to look nice, and my friends loved when they were like, "Oh, I love that jacket," or "I love that shirt." And one of my very first early memories of competition, I was actually in second grade, and I and another popular girl, I wasn't always the popular girl. I and another popular girl had the same exact jacket, and my jacket went missing. It was
Oh,
stolen because the other girl got upset because I had her jacket.
wow.
Yes, in second grade. I'm like, oh my gosh. Talk about petty competition, right? Like, oh my
Mhm.
goodness. And we are learning ourselves at such a young age. And again, I'm not mad about it, right? Like it is what it is. We all have those journeys that we have to go through, but we are taught at such a young age to be part of the group, right? We want to fit in, we want to belong. And a lot of that has to do with standing out. And when you stand out, you have people competing with you to stand out more or to knock you down so you don't stand out.
Yeah, and I mean, not to mention too, like, I feel like school is just a natural breeding ground for competition and
Mm.
comparison because everyone is looking who's making the best grades and they're joining sports teams and who's the star player on the sports team. And then, of course, for girls specifically, who has the better clothes, who has the best makeup and jewelry,
Mhm.
who's getting the boys' attention, those types of things.
Yes. So I was going to go to middle school. Middle school, I was such a, what is that called when you boy crazy? I was so boy crazy. I was, yeah, I was definitely that girl. And man, when I liked a guy and then my friend liked a guy, like that right there is weird, right? That's like, okay, I love you, but like I like this guy. And then you have to decide who gets him, right? Because you don't want to ruin the friendship. And then friendships are ruined because of it, because it's like, okay, but I had him first and then you took him, and stuff like that, right? Like
Right.
that stuff. In high school, we passed guys around, and I'm sure guys did the same thing, like they dated friends and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Where I would be dating him and then my friend's like, oh, I want him, so then she'd start dating him, and then I'd get mad and like, okay, well, I'm gonna get him back. You know what I mean? Like maybe not everybody had that friendship, but there was four of us, and we did that to each other. I don't know why we did that to each other, but we did.
Because of comparison and competition. Even if you weren't, like, directly consciously thinking, I'm going to be better than her. There's always just a part of you who's like, you're the main character in your story. So you want to win. And whatever winning looks like to you, sometimes, especially when we're younger, other people become like cannon fodder to our cause, to us being the best. And that's kind of where competition and comparison becomes the thing that we should be avoiding and moving away from. And it even bleeds into adulthood. Of course you grow up, you mature, hopefully you get some emotional maturity and you realize that you can't just like fight people and hurt people's feelings when you're trying to win. You can't elbow people out of the way all the time. But
Yeah, it's
you
not
know
frowned upon.
well, but especially now in the age of social media, we were growing up when social media was just becoming a thing as we were like in high school and graduating high school.
Yep.
And I feel like it's really bad for the kids today, but even for us, we're sometimes we forget that in an age where we were posting everything, song lyrics, and like what we had for lunch today, we
Oh,
forget
right.
that that now people are just posting their highlight reels. They're posting those
Mm,
really great vacation pictures and the lovey-dovey posts of their 10-year anniversary with the love of their life.
mhm.
And they're not posting the arguments they had about the socks on the floor for the 100th time, or the fact that they used credit cards to take that vacation and now they're in debt.
You just spoke marriage for everyone listening. Like we argue over the pettiest stuff. Anyways, we'll get back on topic.
Well, then that's what I'm saying is that we now as adults, it's really hard because sometimes it is easy to forget that what we see on social media isn't real.
Mm,
It's a partial reality. It's like a small thread in the bigger tapestry. Like we don't see the whole picture. We just see the highlights. And that can also hurt our self-esteem and make us feel like we have to take drastic measures to keep up with the Joneses and get ahead.
right, right. And then we talked earlier about motherhood, right? That's a whole nother competition
Gosh, yeah.
situation where this mom's kid is talking early, or this mom's kid is walking early, or this mom's kid used or this mom, she used, what are those, I never used them, but those washable diapers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cloth
yeah,
diapers.
yeah, cloth diaper. I couldn't use them. I couldn't use them. It was just, nope, couldn't
Me
use them.
either.
So, like, it was a struggle just changing a diaper, and then I could throw it away and be done with it. But, like, yeah, and breastfeeding. I always had a complex about breastfeeding. I did not realize. And here's another thing too is we don't know what kind of mom we're going to be until we're actually a mom. Like we have
Yes.
all these things and these fantasies and these stipulations of I'm not going to do this and I'm not going to say this, or I'm not going to be my mom, or I'm not going to be my dad. And well, we all know that's not always true.
Right?
We do change some things, of course. We break some generational curses, but at the same time, we're not perfect. And the
Right.
breastfeeding, like if you're a mom and you're listening to this and you want to breastfeed or the whole time, or you have, like, kudos to you and you are my hero. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. My son, I breastfed for 4 months and it was torture. My daughter for 6 months and I was bawling. So,
Yeah. And I mean,
yeah.
it sucks because there is so much stuff again online that just kind of poisons mothers against each other. And I
Mm,
know it's also just really easy to brag. So like
yeah.
I have two kids on the opposite spectrum of things. So like my oldest, oh my gosh, Pam, he was doing multiplications at 2.5. He turned 3 years old and could do multiplications. My youngest is still struggling to walk and he's almost 2. So
Mm,
like there's this like part of you that wants to brag, part of me that always wants to brag about how smart and emotionally intelligent and regulated my oldest is. And then there's another part of me that feels and it's I don't want to say that I'm embarrassed. I love my kids and they're so great, but I feel judged by other moms who are like, "Oh, your kid is almost 2 and he's not walking. My 7-month old, my 8-month old is standing already." And
mhm.
it's like it's hard because sometimes when motherhood is your biggest identity,
Right.
it's hard not to take those things personally or to intentionally or unintentionally hurt other moms' feelings with your
Right.
bragging.
Right.
And
And most of
yeah,
the time it's unintentional. Like I really do believe that we do not have this um like remember the old cartoons where you have like the devil on one side and the angel on the other, and I
yeah,
really do believe that we don't have ill intentions, most of us, like on most days. I mean, we have bad days, right? But
right.
when you're hearing it and it hits an insecurity, it's like, oh, that was personal. And even though it wasn't, right? Like because
Yeah.
it's from all the childhood stuff that we dealt with. We
Mhm.
have to remind ourselves repeatedly, hey, this is me, not them. Like this is not
Right.
personal. This is but we find ourselves like defending, right? It's yeah. We're going to get into further on. We're just kind of getting into it and getting a little heavy right now, guys, because this is real, right? Keeping up, feeling that pressure of keeping up with the Joneses and keeping up with our fellow moms and keeping up with our fellow women, successful women in careers, and just that
Mhm.
silent pressure of feeling like we're not enough.
Right. Well, okay, so let's talk about that then. Pam, give
Mhm.
me an example of a time where, maybe another woman's success triggered your self-doubt, or maybe just an experience that you've had as a business owner where comparison was kind of poisoning the well a little bit.
Yes. So I've got a few and I'll do a few short stories because it's a journey, right? I really do believe that we are on a journey to find ourselves. That I feel like that's what life is, and maybe I'm cuckoo bananas, but I really do feel that way. So when I was 30, I started finding myself a little bit, and I became part of a group called Beauties in Business in Tennessee. And I talk about it all the time because that group changed my life. And I remember the first time I ever walked into that group, I was a new second mom. My daughter, my second child was 6 months old. I started going into the business mindset for the very first time. And I went to this group and there was these beautiful women, okay? Like in my head, like they were gorgeous. They were so successful. And I walk into this room with these women and I instantly feel small, like instantly. And I am so uncomfortable. I'm not talking to anybody and I leave and I don't go back. This was in 2000. I say 2019, but that's not true. And 2016 was the first time I ever walked foot in that room. And then I didn't go back until 2019. And my friend Linda had to drag me. Okay. So that it's self doubt, competition, and that just destroyed me for several. I let that control me from 16 to 19. So I have to count on my fingers, guys. I'm not mathematician over here. Um, so 3 years, I let that control me. And oh man, I'm kicking myself in the butt now. And then when I started my business in 2019 and I started going to beauties again because Linda, God bless her, drugged me to this group, right? And I started finding the confidence to sit in that room, just sit. I was real quiet for the first year, the entire first year. I didn't really talk at all. And then I started hearing their stories. And then I realized, oh my gosh, they're just like me, right? They are me. They're just a little further ahead than me. But then that goes back into that, okay, I'm so behind. And I started beating myself up. It took me till 30 years old to get the confidence to walk into a room full of women and to feel like I belonged there. What? Like, what is wrong with me? Oh my goodness. I spiraled for a good solid 6 months because I'm like, I am so behind. Um, so yeah, and then there's that. And then my business started growing after 3 years being in business. And same with the same group, Beauties in Business. And then there was this woman that came in that was kicking some serious butt, man. She came from a different state and moved there and just rocked the world, completely rocked the world. And I tried to collaborate with
Sounds
her.
familiar.
Thanks. um, and I just couldn't. I tried to collaborate, but my confidence wasn't there. So, one thing that is different with me when it comes to growing my business is I taught myself everything that I know. I don't have a degree in business. I don't have a degree in marketing. I have a degree, but it's in the medical field. I have a military background, so I know how to work. Like I am a workasaurus rex. Okay. If that's a word, I just made it up, but I am. I will work myself to not to an early grave because I ain't dying early, but I will work myself into out of retirement. I will not retire. But I saw her killing it. And I went back to, I'm not good enough. And I taught myself everything I know because this person had a degree, right? So then I started thinking, okay, well, I have to have a degree because they have a degree. And that is so not true because I poured myself in my education and learned so much. And then within a year after all this is going on, I started talking shop and realizing I know just as much as she does. So there's education, like modern education is not the know-all.
It's a path, but it's not the path. There are multiple paths to get to where you want to be.
Yes, yes. And then the last one I will share is I'm going to get real vulnerable for a minute. And I'm going to say that being a leader of a women's group has been one of the biggest challenges for me because I had so many people tell me I should do it. And then I moved to Dothan and I missed Beauties in Business. Like I missed it so much. I keep hitting this thing. And building the confidence and the self-worthiness to feel like I can lead women to find themselves and to grow through connection was a big hurdle. And I still, to this day, struggle with it from time to time because it is a big weight and I take it very, very seriously. I do everything I can to be the epitome. I don't think that's the right word, but sorry, I'm Southern from Lynchburg, Tennessee. My vocabulary is not always the best. But be the definition of growth through connection. Because if I'm not doing it, how can I expect someone else to? But there's self-doubt there. And then when I go around other leaders that are doing exactly what I'm doing, I have that same doubt of, oh, well, I could be doing this better for Go-Getter Gals, or I could be doing this. Oh, that's a really good idea. Why didn't I figure that out earlier? Kind of thing. So it's a journey. It's a journey to figure out and then decide who you are, who you want to be. And you have to just show up unapologetically as yourself. And of course, if you make faults, apologize, right? But we apologize as women way too much.
Yes, we really do. I feel like it's just something that I don't know, especially when I was a kid even. It was just like I do something like make a noise by accident, drop a pen in a quiet room. Oh, sorry. Like I hurt somebody. It's just
Right.
something that's such a part of our vocabulary, and it should be like you should be able to apologize when you are wrong, but you should not apologize for just showing up as yourself on your own time in your own way and taking up space that's there to take up. You should
Mm-hmm.
not apologize for existing in the world and taking up space. But of course, you
Yes.
should apologize if you hurt people. But
Right. But that goes back to the wanting to belong, right? And wanting to
yeah.
be accepted. So, Hannah, could you
Mhm.
share some of your stories of competition?
Yes. So I also, like you, I did not start off with a specific degree for business. I did go to school at 18 to do a business degree, and then I dropped out. And I actually didn't get my diploma until um, oh my gosh, I think it was 2018 or 2019, I got my associates. And just last year in 2025, I got my bachelor's degree.
Mm.
So I did everything that I've done, without that degree. But the reason why I mentioned not having one is because I believe a lot of the comparison and competition that I've experienced is really rooted in my own insecurities. And I think that that triggers the behaviors of being a competitive person because I feel like I've always been pushing myself to prove myself and prove that I'm worthy of the positions that I've taken or the space that I take up. And so, for example, one of pretty much every job I've ever had, if I'm being honest, but I used to work with Apple. I used to work for a coaching company before I started my own coaching business. And there was always this at Apple, there were leaderboards. Like your name was plastered on a leaderboard, and you got special perks when you were better than your peers. And that really like nurtured an environment of competition that bordered unhealthy. But in the coaching space, there's a lot of women in this space. There are men who are coaches. There's the Tony Robbins and stuff out there. But like in the smaller sphere of like individual coaches, it's a woman's world. We're emotionally intelligent, we are analytical, and we're able to have conversations with people where people feel comfortable opening up to us as women. It's just like part of our nature. We're good at it. And so a lot of my peers were women, almost all of them were. And um it was a small company that was building. They were a startup. And so they were building a structure. And there was always this like, Hannah, you are next in line. You are going to be the next team leader. You're going to nurture a group of coaches under you and teach them. Hannah, you're so great. But then there was this other girl that I was working with who was getting the same language. And so they were pinning us against each other because it was always dangled like she was talking about how, oh, she's next in line. And I was like, oh, well, I was told I was next in line. So then our numbers were being posted next to each other all the time. And I hated that because I really liked this girl and I wanted to be her friend. And it ruined our chances of having a friendship because we were competitors. We were nemesis, not really, but like we were competing for one spot. And there could only be one. And that means that we were kind of like pushing against each other all the time. And even when we went to like in-person meetings with the whole company, I couldn't even be around her. Like there was just animosity, and I hate that because she was such a cool woman. I would have loved to have been her friend, and that and just like I need to prove myself because this is Hannah from a no-name town with no education, and she's going to be a leader in this company. How do I prove myself? I'll do more. I'll push myself more. And that competition, to recap, it destroyed chances of building a relationship with an incredible woman. It destroyed my confidence, and it destroyed my work-life balance because I was killing myself for that job. And I'm not at that job anymore. So it really wasn't worth it, if I'm being honest. And, I feel like, the final story that I would have would be as a business owner, that job was a job that ended abruptly for me. And when it did, and it was no fault of my own, it was the company's issues that they were having. So when that was not a job for me anymore, I had to make a decision on if I was going to go find another job or if I was going to take all of the experiences and knowledge and education that I had developed over the last 5 years with that company and start my own thing. And so I did start my own thing. But then that problem of comparison bubbled up again. And then I was looking at my peers who also left the job, who were also starting their own thing. And of course, we were starting the same kind of business because that's what we know. And I was looking at them, and they were all women, and seeing, oh, she's getting clients. Oh, she's making this much money. Her prices are this. Should I have raised my prices? Why am I not getting clients? I should work harder, And then there was the imposter syndrome of like, well, they're doing so well and I'm not. I don't even feel like I can define who I am in this role. And it goes back to the highlight reel. Of course my friends, and they are my friends. Of course my friends were sharing their wins with me and celebrating the things that they were accomplishing in their businesses. I want them to do that. But then secretly, it was festering inside of me that I'm not good enough and that I have to do more because I'm comparing my everyday to their wins and not highlighting my own wins along the way. And so,
And
yeah, that is just, it's such a poison to compare yourself and to, I mean, there is such thing as healthy competition. I
there
think
is.
healthy
Yes.
competition is a good thing.
Yes. And we're
But
going to talk
when
about that.
you right. When you allow it to poison your water, it only hurts you as a
Mhm.
woman and as a business owner and as a colleague and as a mother. When you let other people's wins and highlights and celebrations erode your self-confidence, you're the only one who's hurting.
Hey, gals, if you love what you're hearing and you want to get more involved, because trust me, I love Go Getter Gals. I'm obsessed with it. If you love this podcast as much as we do, all you have to do is go on our Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, and we're under Go Getter Gals. We are going to have all of our episodes on the podcast link on our website at go-gettergals.com. Thank you for allowing me to interrupt for just a second. We look forward to continuing to help you grow. Without further ado, here's the Go Getter Gals podcast. Yes, yes, yes. And that's a difficult pill to swallow. Your insecurities and overcoming your insecurities are your problem.
Yeah.
And that is, whoo, that's hard because we're not taught that in school. We're not taught that, you know. If you are blessed with a wonderful mom and wonderful mentors in your life, which my mom is wonderful, don't get me wrong. Absolutely, like give the shirt off your back, a wonderful human being. But I didn't have a lot of positive influence outside of my mom and a
Right.
couple of my friends. And I was a little bit of a pessimist. So I took all the negative as truth instead of the positive, right? So yeah. So let's transition now into how collaboration changed the outcome of competition. And when you find, okay, here, let's just do story time because stories are the best, right?
Mhm.
All the stories that I talked about with the competition that I had and the insecurities that I had, and then I outgrew. And then I moved to an area that I didn't know anybody and met this beautiful lady, Hannah, along with so many amazing other women. I made a conscious decision without talking to anyone other than my husband when I moved here that I was going to do everything I possibly could to make the place I was moving to, Dothan, Alabama, the best it possibly could be. I was going to come and give. Before I knew what I was actually doing, grow through connection, I literally was just pouring into the community that I had. And I was stretching myself to grow and putting myself in rooms that I felt I didn't belong in. And I kept putting myself in them. And that is vitally important. You've got to keep doing that. And then building these relationships with these women. Like I met this group, this couple, Stephen and Sarah, and I was talking to Stephen for about 2 hours yesterday. They were one of the very first people, and they're around my age. Stephen's a little older than me, but not by much. And Sarah's a little younger than me, but around my age. And we were at this young professionals group, and we were talking, and they welcomed me into this group, and they didn't have to. I was an outsider, and they welcomed me. And instead of combating that, I decided to collaborate. And what I mean by combating, like, oh, I don't belong here. Or,
Right.
oh, this is abnormal. No, I just accepted it as truth.
Yeah.
I belong here. They're accepting me. This is my community. And this is my business. This is who I am. And I started collaborating and building these communities inside of this business. And before I knew it, and of course, I didn't make hardly a dime the first year I was here. I didn't do hardly any business with anyone in this community because you have to prove yourself, right? So I spent the first year showing up when nobody wanted me there. Well, that's not true. They did want me there, but having that feeling of nobody wanting me there, right? And just building that community and that collaboration. And then Go Getter Gals started 6 months after I was here, or 8 months, somewhere around there. Because let's see, June 6th, right? Isn't June the 6th month? I don't know. I'm not good at math.
Yes.
Okay. All right, cool. So 6 months, within 6 months of being here, I started Go Getter Gals with some amazing women. And everybody's like, what are you doing? But that's how you grow and you change. You stop listening to the voice of, I'm not enough. Who does she think she is? And you start listening to, this needs to be done. Someone needs to do it. And I am capable, so I will. And I am who I am. I deserve to hold the space that I hold. And I have the ability within me to do this thing that I want to do. And when you do that, people around you that relate to you are going to come to you and they're going to talk to you, and you vice versa, right? You find some people that you want to be more like, you're going to go and talk to them and try to collaborate and grow. So instead of thinking, I'm not enough, she's winning and I'm not, we're going to change that. And as of right now, ladies, and everyone listening, we're changing that. And we're saying, I am enough. I'm allowed to hold the space that I'm holding, and I am capable of what I want to do, what is in my heart to do. Because I really do believe, whether you believe in God or universe or whatever, I really do believe that God puts what you're supposed to do here for a reason. Like, there's a reason why you're passionate about whatever you're passionate about. There's a reason why you're good at what you're good at, like your genetics or, training, conditioning, all that stuff. So that's what happens when you stop competing and you start connecting. You really open up the world to endless possibilities. So yeah.
Yeah. And let's talk about collaboration, because I feel like sometimes collaboration feels scary. It feels like you're going to lose your voice in that
Ooh.
partnership, or that maybe success through collaboration doesn't mean as much or isn't valued as much as success
Mm.
on your own. I feel like sometimes it's really scary to collaborate because I tend to give more than I take, and it's sometimes collaborating with people could feel like I'm being taken advantage of if
Yeah.
I don't set boundaries.
Mm.
So, let's talk about collaboration.
So the boundaries, you mentioned boundaries.
Mhm.
Yes. You have to, okay. Let's talk about love connection for a minute. Okay? When you fall in love with someone, if they don't fall in love with you, there isn't connection. And you have to become vulnerable and share things about you that you may not want to share to connect, right?
Mhm.
It's the same thing when it comes to business. It's the same thing when it comes to collaborating and networking and connecting and building relationships and building communities. You have to allow yourself to be vulnerable, share so you can connect, but
Mhm.
boundaries. Oh, do you want to talk about boundaries? Boundaries is a real good one.
Yeah, and they look different for everyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like depending on your industry or again, even if we're talking about motherhood, collaborating with other mothers, having play dates and sharing the load of parenting and babysitting each other's kids. That's really scary. That's scary, but it also is like it takes a village, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you think about boundaries in and collaborating with other mothers, it's things like, hey, my kid doesn't eat this food. My children, have a strict schedule, or like we don't let this happen. Okay, that's really easy to define. But when you define boundaries in business collaborations, you know, again, for every industry is different. I have a really strong belief in my industry that there is no secret sauce to what I do, and that I could literally write a playbook and hand it to anyone, and it's not going to hurt my business if I give them everything I know. So for me, a boundary is more of my time. So if I'm
Mhm.
collaborating with someone, it's not that I'm not going to share with them my secret sauce. It's that I'm going to have to say, I have this much time available for you for us to work on this thing together. So my boundary is respect my time. Let's make this, something that works for both of us. But again, other boundaries that other people might have is I'm so excited about this and I'm willing to give you more time and be really flexible. But there are certain aspects to my business that make me good at what I do, and it's a industry secret. It's my thing. It's my trademark. So I'm not going to share that with you, and that's a boundary
Mhm.
or whatever.
Yeah.
What do you feel like, okay, cuz my industry is pretty straightforward that anyone could do it, and no one what makes someone good at what they do in my industry is the individual, not the knowledge. So then for
Mhm.
you in marketing, what kind of boundaries do you feel like are important to set when you're working in collaboration with someone?
So mine is different. Mine goes with I have to know that you're going to pour into me as much as I'm going to pour into you when it comes to business partners. When it
Mhm.
comes to my clients, um, it's time. Like I need them to respect my time and I need to respect their time, along with courtesy and stuff like that, which most everybody in a business profession are not going to just call you and just cuss you out, but
Right?
stuff like that. But as for like business collaboration, um, growth through connection really is me. Like it is becoming since 2022, it has become a definition of mine. Before it was change, be the change in the world. I don't know if you can see it or not. You can't see it, but I have tattooed be the change in the world that you need on my arm. And it has changed into grow through connection. So if you want to build a relationship with me, my line of that I draw in the very beginning is we are going to grow together. And if you are not interested in that, then this isn't going to work for me, kind of thing.
Right.
So that's just um
Which I
where's
think
my brain?
I think that shows itself in everything that you do. Like, I totally believe you when you're like, "This is a part of who I am and my core belief system." And I feel like it's so simple to set that boundary when you're working with, let's say you and another person in the same industry want to collaborate together, for you to say, my biggest boundary is that we are going to grow together. You're not going to grow me. I'm not going to grow you. We're going to grow together. So,
Mm-hmm.
whatever collaboration looks like for that, if you're sharing clients, if you're sharing workload, if you're
Mm-hmm.
doing just a referral thing, being able to find that boundary of collaboration for you only exists if we're both benefiting.
Yes, yes. And honestly, it's worked in different ways. So I've got one, it's an SEO guy. His name's Ray. I just met him recently. He's going to give me a software that he's building. And I'm giving him clients because my life is a little hectic right now because my husband decided at 29 he was going to join the military. So that's been great. So he's off at boot camp and I am manning the house and being a single mom for the first time in my entire life, plus being a single person. I realized I had never lived alone
Oh,
before. So again, we're sharing software and I'm giving him clients for that software and we're just kind of sharing ideas and he tells me how his systems work and how he does things and I tell him how my systems work and how I do things. And then there's Tim that I've partnered with here and he pays me to do some of the work for him. And I have helped him grow. I get so excited. So sorry. Um, when I started working with him early last year, he didn't have a full time employee. Now he has a full time employee and a part time employee, and he pays me.
Nice.
And my pay has not went up at all because in knowing him and collaborating with him, I was able to grow my business and my expertise and my footprint in the location that I'm in. And then there's another videographer company here, and I'll end it here, that it's just her name. Like her and her husband are so well known that I literally built an entire system or an entire service and marketed it for them and everything. And then we did it in one day. They edited the videos and I helped chop them up and send them to people. And I talked to all the current clients and stuff. And they didn't want a dime for it, which I am like blown away by it, because I'm sitting here thinking to myself, and I tell them all the time, I didn't want the money. I wanted the collaboration, because now I'm known even more. And I got a $2,000 opportunity because of that.
Yeah.
Like a year later. So think about that when you're collaborating, especially in business. Think about the people that you could potentially meet, the opportunities that could come your way just because you're in their network.
Yes, and that's the thing I feel like we should talk about to button this episode up is, we've talked about how competition and comparison can be a poison to you that only hurts you.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked about the benefit of collaborating and the hurdles of collaborating with people. I think that networking is the big takeaway here. Of course, you have to work on yourself and your own insecurities and try and recognize when comparison is a thief for you and stop that. And then you do need to, yeah, right. And you need to find opportunities to collaborate more. And collaboration doesn't always mean in business. Collaborate with people. Connect with people who are like-minded to you so that you can grow in every aspect of your life together in collaboration.
Yes.
And those I was just talking about this with my husband the other day about how important it is that I stay connected with Go Getter Gals and keep showing up to everything I could possibly show up to, because these relationships are so important to me, and important to me personally because I enjoy having people that I can reach out to and talk to and connect with, but also professionally. When people know Hannah and they know what Hannah does, if they're having a conversation with someone else, they're going to say, you should talk to Hannah. And you should talk to Pam. Pam knows a lot about this. She's really good at this. You should talk to Pam. You should talk to Hannah. And these are opportunities that domino for years. These are things that you will reap at what you sow now for years to come. And so, I mean, there's room for all of us to succeed even in a small town like Dothan or Enterprise. There's room for everyone to succeed, and that happens quicker with collaboration.
Yes, yes. And surrounding yourself with people that are doing what you want to do because they challenge you. And that, we talked about competition, like you said, Hannah, where it can be negative. But the Sharonica Chambers, that's a go-getter gal, she is my competition, but in a good way. Like when I see her kicking butt, like she's got a reality TV show now. Like she's working on like doing these, she's on her way. Now she's not, she doesn't have a full reality TV show yet, but she's going to, because we know Sharonica, she's going to. But like she's doing all these amazing things. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna step it up. Like, let me see what I can do because of what she's doing. You know what I mean? But in a positive way, because we'll talk to each other about it. And she does the same exact thing. She talked to me a couple months ago, because I did it with her 6 months ago. And then a couple months ago, she did it with me. And she was like, girl, I see you killing it. It is motivating me to kill it too. I was like, yeah, let's go.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. And I think, when we were talking about this episode, one thing that stuck out to me as like a tagline is her success is not your deadline. So stop comparing yourself to people with that in mind. You talked about that when you were in Tennessee. You saw people succeeding and you were like, I'm 30 and I'm just now doing this. Other people's success is not your deadline, it's not your timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And collaborate, connect, and grow together with other women. And of course, you could do that with Go Getter Gals. And you can find us on Facebook and Instagram and at go-gettergals.com.
Yes.
And listen to this podcast everywhere that podcasts are available.
Yes. That's the end. We're going to end it here. It was so
Bye.
good. Oh, it was so good to talk to you guys today. Hannah, it's always good to see you. Love you to pieces. And stay tuned for the next episode.
Hey, gals. Thank you for listening to the Go Getter Gal podcast. All of the information for this episode can be found in the show notes. Make sure that you go and like and follow us on Facebook and Instagram, as well as subscribe to us on YouTube. And to find the latest episodes of the Go Getter Gal podcast, you can visit our website at go-gettergals.com. See you next time.